Probably managing a lot of contracts in your business, and especially if you're working in real estate. So you're probably dealing with leases from different locations and different buildings. There's probably management contracts that you have. So all of that paperwork can feel overwhelming, and especially with different conditions and different parties you're interacting with. So in this video, I'm going to show you a full flow on how you can easily manage all these contracts, from signature to analyzing contracts to setting alerts. So let's start with the signature phase. So we have the signatures over here on the left side, and you can request a signature. Let's upload an unsigned contract. So you can put it over here, and now it is uploaded already. So then the next step is basically filling in your details, filling the details from signer, and then letting them sign it. I already pre-filled it in a different contract and everybody signed, so I'm going to show you that over here. And as you can see, there's like this whole activity log of request created, request sent, opened the document, signed, and then the counterparty also opened the document and the counterparty signed too, and the signing completed. And then after completion, the easy flow here is that we automatically upload that contract into Contracko with the right counterparties, with all the details in there. So let's take a look at this contract and where it ended up. So on the left side, again, we see contracts over here. And then we search for that over here, Brightwater Copper Line. And we see the counterparties, and we see the commercial office lease. So that should be the contract over here. And you can see this is the contract we signed. And the nice thing about Contracko is that it extracts all this different information here. So you might want to look at a contract and see which terms are in there or which ones are risky for you to know. So you can, of course, open the AI analysis, and the AI analysis will give you certain risks and things to look out for in this contract. So we take a look at this AI analysis. There's like an overview and a summary, an assessment over here. And it says like, hey, it includes an auto-renewal clause requiring 30 days notice to prevent renewal. So that's super important to know, that you end this contract. Like if you want to end that contract, you have to let the counterparty know 30 days beforehand. So we might want to set some alerts later on. But the nice thing is Contracko already has set some alerts. So we'll take a look later at that. For now, let's take a look at the risks of this contract. So we have two risks identified as medium risk. So your organization is bound for another year if this renewal is missed. So not only we now know the notice period, but also what the problem would be potentially if that deadline is missed. The other medium risk is there's no liability cap, which you might want to have in a contract. And it's also like, if you sign already, good to know that your organization could be exposed to something like unlimited damages, which is a significant risk. And if you analyze this contract before signing, that is an important thing to note or add it in a contract. But if you sign it already, like at least you're aware of these risks. So sometimes it depends on whether you want to analyze these contracts pre-signing, or if you have a batch of contracts already laying around, you want to know the risks and conditions across all those contracts. So the AI analysis will help you do that. And of course, there's several obligations here. Here we have a high dated obligation, like marked as high. The base rent is monthly in advance on the first day of each month. Then we have either party must give 30 days notice. Like again, that auto-renewal is important to know. And then there's of course like an ongoing obligation, and those are marked here. So for example, here we have the organization must maintain building structure and common areas. That's an obligation you have to meet. So, and then liabilities, if they're notable, they'll be flagged, but that depends on different types of contracts. Like in this lease contract, that hasn't been found. So what we can do here is, of course, we can also take a look at those event notifications. So when we're back here in the contract itself, we can see here in this window which events and notifications are near. So Contracko already put in that notice deadline over here, which is that 90 days in advance. So there's an alert already here. If you want to manage these contracts, you can easily click manage an editor. So maybe we don't want to have like 3 alerts before those 90 days. Like now there's a few alerts before those 90 days notice. So your notice before the notice period, basically. But maybe you just want 2, or maybe you want to know even before in advance, so you can start conversations if you don't want maybe a customer to churn, or if you have other plans for this property. Then there's like other ways to manage your contract. So one of the things we did is we have Clara AI over here. So we now have a lot of contracts loaded in, and Clara is our AI assistant who you can ask questions about all your contracts. So which party am I leasing the most to? So for example, you want to know like which party you have the most contract for leases with. So we can trigger this. Clara will fetch your contracts, take a look at all those conditions, find, in this case, the highest total value. She found the most like lease contracts. I'm pulling the values now. So this is like your highest value customer over here. So the Lumen Dental Group has the annual value, and Copperline Architects, that was a contract we just saw, is a little bit below that. And now we can also ask like, how many contracts do I have with Copperline, for example, just to know like how this revenue is spread. Just one contract. It was a contract we just signed. We can also compare that to Lumen. So let's ask that, like, how many contracts do I have with Lumen? And Clara will do another count. So that's how we know like where revenue is coming from. So here we see it like Lumen is actually 2 contracts. So it was the highest value and the most contracts, at least from these 2. So if you're unsure where to find something in a contract or in which contract, you can just ask Clara, and she has analysis ready for you in a few seconds. So super handy, this tool, to basically manage your contracts over here. And finally, of course, maybe if we want to dig deeper, we can take a look at Lumen themselves. So we could go to parties. I could like search here, for example. This has to be Lumen. and you can click on the contracts, but also on the parties. So you can like just use the search in the top bar and find the right parties. You can click on Lumen here itself, and then you can see that we have some basic information. There's like the address, contact person, if you have that filled. But most importantly, there's these contracts that we just saw also pop up in Clara AI. So this is an easy view if you already know like which party you're interested in and what contracts you have with that specific party. And here it's like a rent escalation, amendment, and the official lease for this suite. So these are actually two contracts that are attached together. So good to know that this is still probably in the same property. I'm not going to look at that now, but you can dig deeper if you really want to. Finally, one of the things you might need is you want to get some data out of this. So you have all these contracts. Can I batch process them, for example? So if you have all these contracts laying around and you want to extract like key dates to import into other documentation, what we provide here is a parser. So you can like batch upload contracts, put them in here, and now you have an easy overview over all those contracts that you can reuse in other software or analyze in your own environment. So you're not fully tied to the Contracko environment itself. So here we, for example, analyzed 3 contracts. You can like preview the contract itself, and as you can see, you get the raw data from it. We put it into an easy CSV file, so you don't get only this raw data, but as you can see here on the screen, there's all these fields that are extracted, like the file name, the pages, the amount of pages here. We have a renewal period, a new renewal notice, the governing law, and then also some of that AI analysis is in here too. So we have the AI review summary that might be helpful, some risks, some trigger events. So you're not tied to use only this interface. We're making it super easy for you to pull out that data and work wherever you need it. So if you also need integrations with your own, like other contract software, maybe you need integration with your CRM, let us know and we can help you with that. So in short, that concludes basically how you can manage a whole contract flow for real estate. And it doesn't really matter which type of contract or which type of agreement. The tooling is fairly the same, where you want to analyze it. Of course, you want to sign it. You want to set alerts for important dates in these contracts. And you want to have these contracts in one place so you can ask questions about it and have insight into what's happening in your business and what's happening in your legals. So hopefully Contracko can help you with that. We are always happy to get feedback. If you need a certain feature, let us know. We're happy to add it or integrate with any of your other tooling. For now, you can just like give it a shot. Like there's a free trial on our website. Try it out and see how this tooling can help you manage your contracts easily and get on track and get these insights.